So this is what we're making. A love knot ring, reef knot, square knot, lover's knot. Basically it's meant to represent two lives entwined. Nice little ring. We're going to make a love knot ring, reef knot, square knot. We need 2 pieces of wire, 100 mil long. When you're ordering wire, order it soft or half hard. That way you won't have to anneal it. Now we want to bend just a small loop in the middle. So we're going to make it into a U. So just push it around the small end of your ring mandrel. And what you want is something that looks like a teardrop shape. So do both. Now, at this point, I would recommend that you solder the 2 ends. So just put this on your charcoal block, one little bit of solder on both of them, pickle them, and then I'll show you what to do next. So now you've got 2 teardrop shaped pieces. When you're soldering this in, you don't have to worry about making it perfect because this is going to get cut off. So squeeze that a little bit and bend it into a slight curve. Yeah? So do both of them that way. And then we're going to loop them together. So you put like this and you drop the end through. Yeah? So then when you pull it, it's your reef knot or your square knot. So once again, teardrop, curve, put the loops at opposite ends, and just thread the 2 of them together. Now we're going to hold one end in the vise and the other end in a set of draw tongs and give it a good pull. So just put about 4 or 5 mil in the end in the vise, bend it over, grab the other end with your draw tongs, and a nice tight pull. So you can see that that's what we want. Now this is still a little bit loose. I would recommend that you put this in your third hand and put one little bit of hard solder on there. Now I suspend this from one end so that gravity will hold the knot together. So just a little bit of flux, and you only need 1 piece of hard solder. Place it in there with your flux brush. You could use pick soldering on this one, but it's not necessary. So we just want that to sit so that it's touching both pieces of wire. And you only need to solder 1 spot. So light your torch, have about a flame about 100 to 150 mil long with just gas, which is the red, and then oxygen just until all of the orange goes out. I'll shift this in. All you want to do is just gently heat this, flame on and off, until your flux goes a little bit crusty white. And when it's at that point, it'll hold the solder in place. So you can, I'm about 60 mil away. Watch your flux, it'll go clear, the solder will flow, take your flame away. Quench it in water, pickle it, and then I'll show you what to do. Get your ring size. Use a ring sizer that fits you nicely. Measure the inside with this part of your calipers. Wiggle it until you get a nice consistent reading in millimeters. Add the thickness of your wire, which is 1.2, and then multiply by 3.14, and that'll give you the length to cut this. Okay, this has been pickled and rinsed, so dry it. Every time you get a piece out of the pickling, you rinse it off, dry it. Now, you need to take your measurement and transfer it to this. Mine is 64.5. And cut off either end because you want to get the marks from the vise and the draw tongs off. Texture mark is okay. Now I want you to cut this with your saw, and if you're worried about it, you're not being able to hold it, what you can do is you can use your parallel jaw pliers and just brace them against your bench peg and saw down through. But if you do that, make sure that the peg is between you and where this is going to come off. Because you don't want to cut yourself. Do both ends. Now you need to file the ends flat, and once again, if you're worried about holding this wire against your bench peg and having it fold over, use your parallel jaw pliers, because they're good for that. And you can just file right up onto the pliers. You won't hurt the pliers, and it'll give you a nice square edge. Do both ends. Make sure that this is nice and flat because you want an almost invisible solder join. So you're going to take your flat half-round pliers and put your solder onto the inside and then bend the ring around that way, because we want, it's not totally necessary, but it would be nice to have this solder join hidden. So just do these one at a time. Make as perfect a join as you can. Then put it on your third hand and solder it one at a time. Now if you did a proper job, that join should be almost invisible. So when you've taken it out of the pickle, rinse it, dry it off, round it up. You can just push it on your ring mandrel if you want. At this point it doesn't have to be perfect. So I just push it down as far as I can. Little tap with the rawhide hammer. Now take your sanding stick and on the outside follow the curve. Be fairly gentle with this because it's easy to change the profile of the wire, and if you do, then you can't fix it. So that's my outside. I'm going to use the split mandrel for the inside on my handpiece. Now, I'm doing this now because it's easier to do the one wire when it's not next to the other one. Okay, that's good. Now at this point, we're going to do the next wire. And I would recommend that you have it spread so that when you solder it, you're not worried about this one. So use your flat half-round pliers again. Bend this into whatever shape you need, but what we want is for the ends to fit perfectly. I'm ready to solder this, and as you can see, I've got it spread like this, and then I'll run my flame that way so that I don't come anywhere near this one. Alright, I soldered the second one and pickled it, dried it. Now once again we're going to go on our ring mandrel, make it round, use your rawhide, don't hit the knot. Now, once again, sanding stick on the outside, split mandrel on the inside. Be careful you don't damage the one next to it. And then we're going to finish rounding it up, and then we'll polish it. When you have your sanding all done and you're happy with it, you think I'll be happy with it, back on your ring mandrel, and just gently hammer until you're close to the knot. Don't hit the knot. Turn it over. Do the other side. We want both these rings to be the same size. So now at this point, into the tumbler for about 10 minutes. So this is what we're making. A love knot ring, reef knot, square knot, lover's knot. Basically it's meant to represent two lives entwined. Nice little ring.